fun how to untilt guide. Sadly, I am streaming right now, but I won't be looking at my chat. I can see Guns and Fluffy Duck have just joined. Congratulations, you're in the video. I'm going to cover up my Twitch chat now so I can focus on this video and actually get a little bit of a guide into how you can sort of identify, overcome, and improve your mental around tilting. I think it's such a big thing for League of Legends players, especially like myself. It's taken me a long time to identify and see where I go with tilt. So I think let's just jump straight into it. So guys, what is tilting? That's probably like the big question on a lot of people's minds like that. I don't think people have like a full identity of what tilt is. So tilt is basically, it refers to the state of emotional frustration or agitation that negatively affects a player's performance. So critically, like when someone is on tilt, they become susceptible, they make like suboptimal sort of decisions, they play more aggressive or recklessly, so they're more prone to making mistakes, and they generally like sort of underperform because they are stuck up in their head, they're not thinking clearly. Tilting is changing your mindset about how you're playing the game. So on that note, I'd love to sort of share with you little facts and little tidbits about how you can become untilted and sort of guides in identifying tilt. So we've sort of defined what tilt is. But there's such a big thing is like, there's so many different ways you can get tilted. You can get triggered by players talking to you. You can actually have someone, affecting you negatively in game. You could have external things outside the game affecting you. That is all part of being tilted. Like your outside experience of gaming is always a factor. You have to take that into consideration. So I think it's so critical to know how to recognize tilt, and we will get into that in just a second. But one part I think we need to really touch on before we get into that is it's so critical to identify tilt purely because, should I turn my music off? I'm leaving, it's on now. It's been on. It's so important to identify tilt and being able to see it when it's happening. It is a lot harder in game. You're in a stressful environment. So it does make it far more difficult to have that thought of, oh, maybe I'm a bit tilted, I need to take a step back and relax. But when you start to get better at it, you will be faster at identifying it, and that's such a crucial thing. So learning to identify and then working on that will increase your performance. It is known, like we have seen so many players go from, we're using League of Legends as the key identifier here, low to high elo, because they've worked on their mental, they've focused on the progression and improving rather than being stuck in old ways. So let's now talk about how to recognize tilt. That's going to be such a big thing. So the common signs of tilt is probably the most crucial thing, right? Like if you can't recognize it, you're not going to be able to work on it. So a lot of things that you get when you sort of recognizing tilt is frustration. That is like one of the key things. Impatience, anger. You could just have an emotional imbalance of some sort. Like you feel like you're being tossed about, your brain's being rattled. These are all sort of common traits of being tilted. They're a sign. So I think when you start to have a healthier response to these emotions and realizing that they are not necessarily bad emotions, I don't think emotions should be inherently bad or good. They are emotions that you need to experience. It's how you respond to these emotions that is so critical. So I think it's really smart to know what you get tilted by, how you get tilted by it, and what actions you can take to improve on that. Big thing for me, from my experience, I've been sort of like a positive mental attitude sort of streamer for so long now. What helped me identify my own tilt is knowing that if I don't feel like I'm performing well enough, I do actually fall back into my own bad rhythms. So identifying that if I'm having a bad game and knowing to take a step back and saying, okay, it's okay to be carried. It's okay to be carried. And if my team can't carry, that's fine too, because a loss shouldn't affect your attitude. It is a game after all. That's the simple truth. But it was the truth that every time I'd go into these games, I had the mentality of, I have to win it for my team. I have to win it for my team. I have to win it for my team every single game. And I was tilting myself because when I'd have one bad game and I'd lose one lane, I would actually get tilted. And that's such a big identifier for me. And when I learned that, I was like, I can fix that. I don't have to worry too much about this. So I actively went and worked on that. And now it's so hard for me to get tilted. The only way I truly get tilted is if I get giga camped. And again, I've identified this and I know when I get tilted is when I get giga camped and I can't do anything. When I feel useless and feel helpless in a game, that's when I get tilted. But I've learned to react to that and say, okay, I know that I need to play safe, play from behind, and learning to play from behind, such a crucial thing. So It's about emphasizing, you got to emphasize the learning aspect of being tilted. If you can't sort of look at it and reflect on those behaviors, you won't, you will, well, you will continue to tilt. That's the common fact. If you keep letting these behaviors affect how you play the game and who you are, you will continue to tilt. It's plain and simple. So I think the analysis of your gameplay, and that's also important to VOD review, right? Like that's sort of a big part of it. If you VOD review and look back and say, okay, I was talking about this and I was pissed off at this because this happened, great, there's your trigger. Why has that triggered you? How do I move on from here? Setting up game plans on what you're doing, having clear steps of practice is so critical. Which takes me into the steps of practice. I wanted to talk about this. It's developing a pre-game routine. So I used to have a very strong sort of pre-game routine where I'd go in and I'd sort of talk myself up, I'd get a bit hyped. But because most of my games now are streaming, I sort of will just talk with chat and it's sort of built in to how I do it. But a pre-game routine is so good. It will help you so strong with your mental. If you say, okay, I'm going in with the goal of making sure I have lane control, making sure I have wave control is a big one, making sure that I have no wards in my inventory and I'm always putting out vision. If you focus on those like 2 things, and you can have it at 2-3 things max, if you go over any more than this, you won't be able to sort of maintain a level of success, because if you fail at one, you're going to beat yourself up. So the crucial thing here is to be like, okay, what are things that are in my control that I can focus on in this one game? And you can do this in rank 2. This is not just norms. This is not just ARAMs either. You are focusing on things that are helping you improve as a player. Pre-game routine, pre-game set, and setting yourself up for success is your critical thing. You need to be able to go in and say, I want to focus on 1, 2, 3. If you can leave that game, win or lose, and you've ticked off every single one, you have already beaten your untilted. You have already beaten your mental, and you're already taking the steps to improve. Such a critical thing, and I would implore everyone, even if you write it down and put it on a piece of paper next to your screen, so you can check back at that as you're in game and say, okay, I'm focusing on CS, I'm focusing on wave control, I'm focusing on making sure that my laners, I get the first rotation. There's so many little things that we all need to practice on, and these can all help with untilting. I can't stress that enough. Which does take us to a sort of a different tact. This isn't for everyone. I'll put that into perspective. It's not for everyone. You don't have to do this, but I think for myself, and for a lot of other gamers who like to take it a little bit slower, it's going to be really good. It's mindfulness and meditation for gamers. I know that the pro players have started getting really big into mindfulness meditation before and after games. You've all seen that clip of Faker and he's just like asleep and he's just sort of breathing, and we're all just like, he's just visualizing just killing his opponent. At the same time, he is probably meditating. He's probably taking time to calm his heart rate, relax, take deep breaths. It's also so good, meditation and mindfulness, to help you identify your emotions. They help you sort of look at yourself and inside yourself, which I think in this day and age, we're all so used to these big things of showing yourself off on social media, posting happy pictures of yourself all the time to feel good, get those likes. That's such a big red flag in my opinion. I put out a tweet today being like, oh, I can't wait to get some reactions to this. I got none. And I was just like, you know what? That's cool. Like, it is what it is. You're going to win some, you lose some. You got to take the wins. And I've learned that through meditation and mindfulness. And I think learning to harness those skills have made me a more positive mental attitude gamer, and anyone can learn it. I might do a meditation guide for you guys later on. So if you'd like that, I'd love to see that in the comments. That would be fantastic. Now, another guide to untilting, and you have all seen it. Everyone who is in my stream right now, or anyone that has sort of been a part of my stream for a long time, knows that taking breaks and managing fatigue is a big thing for me. If I lose 2 games in a row, it is a guarantee that I will stop playing ranked for the night. My mental will be gone. I've focused too much on trying to get the win, and I haven't, so that's okay. I've said, no, that's it. I'm going to take my break. I don't need to play anymore. I think this is the reason I've climbed so far in my time. I went from probably low gold. Gold 4 actually was like my peak at the time. Probably gold 3. Like I just got gold 3. It's like, okay, gold 3. And now I'm emerald 4. And I've got the skills and capabilities of getting to diamond quite comfortably. That has been such a critical thing the whole time. And all of my games have been recorded and uploaded. So the proof is there that I've been winning games and climbing, purely because I said, oh, no, if I've lost, I'm going to stop. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to relax. I'm going to give myself the mental fortitude to say no and actually give myself a break. I think we all put too much pressure on ourselves, and taking a break is so, so critical. I literally had a day the other day just for my mental health. I took the day off work. I even said to them, look, I'll work a little bit from home, but I just need a day. They were super, super respectful for that, and hopefully your workplaces are like that too, unless you're in high school, and hopefully you can take those days too. But at the same time, I identified that. I saw that I needed this day. I took it and I felt so much better after it. It really does help. Give yourself a break, guys. Learn to identify the tips of fatigue and their impact on tilt. That is such a big thing. If you can look up what fatigue looks like, burnout, if you can see that, these will help you. And then come up with a strategy. Learn and ask people, hey, I found that I'm burning out doing this. I still love doing this. How can I continue? I would bet you $1 million that every streamer I come across has come to a point where they said, I can't stream anymore. I can't do this. I can't play ranked anymore. I can't play league. All of this. But they have figured out something that's kept them in the game. I know so many players that have been wanting to go pro, and they are still gunning for it, but I know that they are capable of getting it. And they said, no, I need to take a step back. Then they got a second wind, and they've come back, and they're doing awesome. Big shout out to Findo. He's the perfect example of this. Believe in that man 100%. So that takes us to the next section, which is, I'm sort of talking about like setting, managing your fatigue, taking breaks. I think the next part of that is setting realistic goals. If you're not setting yourself up for success, you are not going to be successful. Again, you have to set yourself up for it. No one falls into success. They work so hard. They have goals. They have plans. They know what they want. They go after it. So if you want to reach a higher tier, I'm going to talk to the lower elo people here, and even higher elo as well. It's such a crucial thing. If you want to hit that next step and you feel like you want to go for the next tier, you need to set goals. You need to look at how you get tilted in where you're currently at and what your gameplay is like. We'll bring it back to gaming again. Look at your gameplay. Look at where you are. Look at where you want to be. Watch the people that are in that elo and figure out what you can do to mimic that. It's the classic coaching technique. If you are not actually actively going out and searching for more information, how do you know? The information's out there. It's already there. You could just go get it. Ask someone. Talk to people. Learn. Ingest. Digest. Take the information in and adjust it to how you're doing things. So big for goal setting. And these don't have to be big goals. They don't. Like, ranked is one of those things, right? LP is this fake number that gives us dopamine at the end of the day that makes us feel good. Fuck the numbers right here. What are realistic goals that you can set for yourself that you can work on? A goal could even just be like, I'd love to just play one ranked game a day. Just one. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. I'd love to play 3 ranked games in a week, and I'd love to see what happened in those games. Awesome. That's a super simple goal. You're already gaming at night. You can just do it. It's not hard. But you got to stick to those goals because realistic goals should be so achievable. One of my big goals that I think I've sort of taken away, especially as a streamer, is I knew I was going to take a hit working a full-time job, trying to be a successful streamer, trying to be a shoutcaster for the pro leagues. I knew I was going to take some hits. I knew stream was going to take some hits, but I said I still want to do the content that I love. So I said, I want to stream 3 days a week. Realistic goal. Means I can do it. I can make content. I can do the things I love. When I'm in off season, so much easier. When I get to the peak season, yeah, it's probably going to be a bit harder when I'm casting and all that. But still, I set a good goal. I have been so consistent ever since knowing that and wanting to achieve it. It's been phenomenal. So really big one, guys. Setting realistic goals is so critical. Please look at it. Write them down. You can do the 3-6, it's the 6-1-6-1-3 rule. So it's in the next 6 months, what would you like to achieve? These should be a little bit more enhanced goals. These should be a little bit more. And I did this with my coach as well. He said, I want you to do a 6-month goal. I want you to do a 1-year goal. And I want you to do a 3-year goal. And I want you to clearly define where you want to be. And then I even had another goal for a 3-month or monthly goal as well. The monthly goal is things that I can action literally today and get on it. That has got me so many fucking opportunities. It's not even funny. Simple little things. One was just messaging someone. And then today, out of instinct, I went and messaged someone again. So little goals, guys. And if you want a goals guide, I will find you one. They are phenomenal. They will help. So please put that in the comments too. Really keen to see what goals you guys have, because that's such a big thing. This one's so much harder. This is where we're going to start getting into the more nitty gritty stuff that I think League really suffers with. So League of Legends suffers with this so much purely because the culture it's built. It is positive communication with your team. I would say maybe 50 to 60% of the games, when I post my link, I've always put a little message in my little link when I'm sharing it out. It's just like, hate toxicity, love League. Come join the new era of positive gaming. I've done that for years and years and years. And I'll always get someone being like, oh, kill yourself, oh, fuck off, cunt, all that sort of shit. Every time. Every time. But then when I get the one or two people, they're like, oh yeah, okay, that's pretty cool, right? That is what's built the community I currently have. That's the difference. It takes time. It's hard. But having positive communication, trying to put positivity out into the world will bring positivity back towards you. I can't stress that enough. What you put out is what you receive. If you put out negative thoughts and negative feelings, if you start being toxic to the other players, if you start being toxic to yourself and tilting yourself through a negative mindset, you will actually be getting that from the others around you. It is basic psychology. You will see it more. It's literally how ads work. They want to bombard you with these ads, you're more inclined to buy it. Same with your attitude. If your mental attitude is, I am not doing good, you will continue to not doing good. If your attitude is, I'm doing great, I'm doing my best, you will be doing so much better as you go. So that is so critical. Having clear communication, not only with yourself, but with your team, telling them, I want to do this, this, this. We should have priority on Dragon. We should be going for all objectives. We should have lane control. I want you to focus on farming. Look, at the end of the day, sometimes people just need to be told what the fuck they need to do in this game. We all don't know. The game's so fast-paced. Some people are 20 games in a day. Some people are on their first. They're feeling fresher. That's okay. But as long as you're staying positive, working towards set goals, you will do so much better. Communication is key. Communication with yourself is even more important. Which brings me on to the next part. Again, this is sort of heading to the harder levels where you really need to be self-aware. You need to know where you're at. And it's creating a supportive gaming environment. Fuck me, if you haven't heard me say this a billion times, I'll have to say it again for you. If you want to see your tilt improve, if you want to get better, surround yourself with people who make you feel good, who make you do better, who make you want to be better. Because that is what we are all here to do, right? We're all looking to join in this journey, improve as gamers, improve as people, and make some friends. That is what a supportive gaming environment should be. It will help so much with your mental state. Rather than having a teammate, if you're in a 5-stack, being like, mate, you're fucking shit. Get fucking shit on. I hate everything you did in that game. You tilted the shit out of me. Fuck off. Instead, maybe you have someone that is, hey man, a loss is a loss. Let's just go next. Let's have some fun. Let's play a champion you enjoy. Let's do something that's a bit more fun. Let's take it less seriously. Let's just go have a blast. That's the attitude you want. That's who you want on your team. You don't want the other person. That's the reason you quit League of Legends. You want the person that says, hey, let's just go have some fun. It's a game. LP doesn't matter. It's all good. We're just going to be here to improve. If you want to take the game way seriously, play solo. Focus on you. But don't let your community, which is the entire region, Oceania, for me, is my region. If someone is flaming me, I'm going to ask, what can I do better? What do you think I should do? I will ask them. And if they go, oh, just kill yourself, I'll be like, all right, mute. Sorry, mate. Your constructive criticism was trash. I don't have to deal with that. I'm going to see what I can do better. And I'm going to focus on me. I don't have to worry about them. That's the best part about having a supportive community, is if they're not going to be supportive, get the fuck out. We don't want it. No one's here for that. So that's the best part. Surround yourself with great people. Your gaming space is your choice. It is your choice. Go find amazing people. We are all out there. Now, this brings me more to the more serious side. And this is the hardest one because this is honestly something that I went through. I know a lot of other gamers and stuff go through too. It's actually seeking professional help. There's two sides to this. One is the mental health side. If you feel like you are talking to yourself so negatively, not just in gaming, but outside of gaming too, go seek help. It's okay to get help. It's okay to have a professional look after you. The amount of psychologists I've been through might scare you. So look at that. Take me as your inspiration. If I'm that positive and I've been through all of that before, you can do it. You can do it. It's okay to realize you're not okay. So go find someone who can help you be okay, right? But if you are looking at that gaming sort of side and you want to be a better gamer, you're not depressed, you're not anxious, but you are looking to improve, get a coach. Get someone to look at it from an outside perspective. If you can't see it yourself, you won't know what to fix. Get someone to look, get someone to coach. It's what I've been doing with my casting. It's what I've done with League of Legends for years. I've had coaches say, you're doing this wrong. Okay, I'm going to spend the next 6 weeks working on that one thing. And then I come back and they say, great, you've mastered it. Next. What's next? You're doing this wrong. Okay, cool. 6 weeks. Let's go. And that's progression. That's learning. That's evolving. You can't be a professional athlete if you don't have someone to coach you to that level. I don't know anyone who has that singular drive to get you to that level, right? So don't stress, all right? Get help. Get someone to look over you and make sure you're doing things correctly. Or just get someone to talk to. We are all here in this community, especially my community, that want to see you be the best you possible. So go out and just be your best. Ask someone for help. Ask someone for a game. I have Find a Duo literally in my Discord, so you can go ahead and say, who wants to play a game? That's the difference. That is the difference, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming. That has been my Untilt guide. If you'd like any specific details or would like me to do little segments on these in general, please hit me up. I'm more than happy to do that. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next adventure.